Right now in studio, we're joined by Njeru Kathangu, the former Ford Asili Secretary General.
I am still.
You're still the Secretary General
yes.
for Asili. Okay, that's amazing. You talk to us about that.
Good.
Okay, and former Runyenjes MP, of course, Ford Asili, he was there when Matiba was the party leader. He is still there today. Thank you so much for making time for us today. And we are sorry.
Okay.
First of all, we want to say sorry to you and, of course, condolences to family and friends. And I'll start with you. I'll start by your message of condolence.
First of all, I want to say that Kenya has lost a great man who decided to crush himself from the greenhouses to dust for the sake of Kenya. And one of my messages should go to Mama Susan, who I believe bears the greatest loss, and the children, and most of all the Muranga Mbiri constituency that has been with Kenneth Matiba all the time that he was fought by the despot to the day that he declared that he was going to be with us in the struggle to democratize this nation. For me, I would say this: great men will come and go, but we must remember as Kenyans that we must not follow the wrong winds and flags. Because one thing, we denied Matiba the leadership of this nation. Some of the greatest pains that we have today is because Kenyans went the wrong way.
When would you say was the last time you were in contact with Matiba?
I was with Kenneth Matiba recently when he was at the current hospital. That's last year. And now he's still at the current hospital, although lifeless. And I think that the way that he has been able to take the pain, the sickness, and some of the abuses that he has received in life reminded him of how great liberators must always be, that nations will be saved not by words, but the pains that each one liberator goes through.
So you would say he was at peace with that?
He was at peace with it. He knew he had done it. He knew that he played his part, and it was for Kenyans to continue taking the model that he created.
Regardless of what many people are saying, I'll read another tweet here. David Ochola, who actually sums up what many people are saying as they condole with the family. He says, it is very sad that Kenneth Matiba died as a result of torture by those who enjoy power by shedding blood. Right now, all are running to shed crocodile tears. Anyway, liberators do not die. They rest in peace as they watch their soldiers fight on. He says, go well, Honorable Matiba.
There is something that Julius Malema said in the burial or during the funeral service of Mandela yesterday. And he said this: we see a lot of people shedding crocodile tears here. People who are in suits, yet they are the ones that betrayed you. People who are here and they denied you opportunity for A, B, and C. I would say this: majority of the people that are going to send messages for Matiba family are going to be shedding crocodile tears simply because they want to be identified with the past, a past that they were not part of, and pretending that they can do it just as well as Matiba did. It is the honors of Kenyans for them to know that pretenders are many. They are more than the liberators. And it will be very difficult, therefore, to appreciate some of the things that the liberators did simply because they want to be in office. In fact, let me say this: that majority of the people who went through struggle were imprisoned with Kenneth Matiba today have got no voice at all. But those characters that were torturing them and always following up strings to make sure they were arrested are the ones in office. And therefore, what it means, brother, is that the characters that are sending messages today actually wish that those comrades with Kenneth Matiba were finished so that there was no history to quote.
We just talked to one of them right now, Charles Rubier, and we'll come back to this shortly. But those pictures you can see on TV right now or on your screens,
yes,
that is a convoy of vehicles heading to Lee Funeral Home, where the body of the late Kenneth Matiba will be kept or preserved, awaiting the plans for a funeral or for the burial. And we'll be crossing over to one of our reporters who will be there. I think it's Masi Kandie. Shortly also we'll be crossing over to State House, where we are expecting an address to the nation by President Uhuru Kenyatta, addressing the demise of Kenneth Matiba. So you are talking about how bad this has been.
Yes.
You're actually saying he was at peace. That is a good thing. I mean,
he was at peace with Kenyans. Regardless of the pain that he went through, he was at peace. And he was simply saying this, Kathangu, we made our contribution. It is for Kenyans to know how to make it through the years to come. We have contributed. And we would laugh and smile about it, right? But the issue is this, even as he says this, do Kenyans appreciate in fact that they have got a challenge? Or is it that they think they finished with democracy and the introduction of multipartyism? Because that is what our struggle was all about, to make sure that Kenya becomes plural, that Kenyans are able to talk their minds, that Kenyans are able to appreciate their freedoms and rights. Is that all they wanted? Today, I have seen a few Kenyans starting to think that if you talk, you will be identified. And therefore, what are we talking about? We are actually saying from 1992 to this day, just a few years, Kenyans have started retreating, reversing what it is that we were fighting for. What is it that we have achieved? And it is very sad that a Kenyan youth can actually look for bribe, not to talk, can look for a bribe, not to act. And for me, and just for Kenneth Matiba, is that is the saddest thing that Kenyans can refer to.
I mean, for the people now who are, first of all, what would you have wanted to see? He says, you tell us, you talk to him, and he said he was at peace, with what has happened.
Correct.
Doesn't blame anyone. Many people, of course, think more should have been done to him. Do you think more should have been done, or what should have been done?
The issue is this. We went to elections of 1992. We are convinced that Kenneth Matiba won, right? And after he was denied the office, Kenneth Matiba said, fine, that's all right. He went to court, it was denied, and he said, look, let's look for another time. His time is now. He has gone back to his creator, right? And all we are saying is this ourselves, is that with Kenneth Matiba's spirit, Kenyans must be able to refertilize themselves into the struggle, not the struggle to fight. Sometimes, you know, some pharaohs, when they hear things like revolutionary, things like struggle, they think it is going to pick arms. It's not about picking arms. It is that you must be able to fight for what is yours. And what is yours, first and foremost, is the rights and the freedoms that God has given you. Second thing is your neighbor must not push you beyond what your space is supposed to be. Period. If a politician is going to displace you, he must be told no, because this is my space, right? And that is what Kenneth Matiba has gone, leaving us with. That we want it, we must not give it to anybody else. We must not surrender it, because we fought for it. You know, those of them that tortured Matiba, and some of us, we have already forgiven them, and they should be free, walking around like everybody else, because we are happy we made our contribution. And Kenneth Matiba, go well, sir. The thing is that he has given the people what it is they wanted. Simply don't surrender it.
many people will talk about Kenneth Matiba, remember him for all of the good things he's done. And many people, again, talk about such people in their death.
Yes.
And what should have been done for them. There are those who are still alive. There are those who went through all this, through the second liberation struggle. Do you think something needs to be done? What can be done now to recognize their efforts?
By the way, what we say ourselves is this. Each and all of them that have gone into office, they have power. They fought to go out there and do justice to Kenyans. If they went there and decided that they will not, it's not our business to think that they should, because they have already decided that they should not. Some of them were puppies, small little boys, right? But they are now billionaires, right? They are billionaires simply because space was created by the strugglers and liberators who have given them that opportunity. They don't think about them. They will also evaporate, just like you see the moshi. Moshi. Moshi unaanza kwa moto, but it goes to the skies, right? And that is what I expect. You did not respect your freedom fighter. You did not respect your struggler. You did not respect your democratic agent. All it happened to you is that you will evaporate just like everybody else has in the past. Nevertheless, now that you have the opportunity
to do it,
change your attitude and respect the heroes before you, that they can be able to bless you and the creation appreciate what you are in the office you occupy.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you, or when you spoke to him, you told us, I think you told me you spoke to him last year.
Last year.
In hospital.
Yes.
What was his thinking about what was happening? Actually, last year was very interesting because of the election and the political environment in the country. The
very first thing he wanted to know about me is, Kathangu, are you still in Ford Asili? And I said, yeah. But we were now changing. We were now changing the Ford Asili to be the original Ford. Instead of Ford Asili, we changed it to Ford, but we could not use the old name, Forum for Restoration of Democracy, because that was there before. And so I briefed him about the Forum for Republican Democracy, and I was still the Secretary General. And he said, look, tell them, you know, Matiba was very interesting, tell them that we still have a long way to go. And oppressors are still around. Please make sure that they don't take the space that we already created. You know, and you'll be talking that way. And for me, I would say this, that Kenneth Matiba has gone out as a hero. He has been a hero for our democratic process, and Kenyans should respect him. But most of all, the family, Mama Susan, who always was next to him, encouraging him that every family should take the model of that lady. She never told Kenneth Matiba to stop it. Why? If Matiba stopped it, Kenyans were going to look for another one. Where would they get another Kenneth Matiba? That character. So Mama Susan allowed. And for me, that is the way the family should be. Identify the talent and calling of your spouse and partner, your father and your parent and your mother, so that you can be able to support it, right? Because if the family did not support Kenneth Matiba, Kenya would still be 1990, right? Because of their support, then we were able to make a stride towards democratization.
Right. I'll look at a few SMSs and tweets again. We have somebody who says, you cannot judge history. That man talking the truth, talking about you.
Yes.
Njeru Kathangu says, most people enjoying Kenya as it is because of Matiba. That's what he's saying. Pastor Ben Wamigate says, a hero who fought like a soldier in our country has died. Though you die, your dream has not died because we enjoy the democracy you fought for. My condolences to the immediate family. Rest in peace, Honorable Kenneth Matiba. All this is 22422. And we also have Elkanah, says Elkanah the statesman.
Yes.
Says, rest in peace, Kenneth Matiba. You tried your best. Thank you. May God comfort your family. But Kenyans are not yet ready to face the truth about this nation and where it's headed. So they won't see the change that they deserve. I don't know how you respond to that.
Yes, that I know. I know what Kenyans are talking about. One is that from 1990 to now, we really have done a lot. And you see, one of the things that is happening now is that a few characters appear to be reversing the gains. And what are these gains? Why is it, for example, would Kenyans want that there is no opposition in this country? That I see that everybody else, when Raila talks with Uhuru, everybody else with Raila wants to join them. And the question is this, therefore, what is the virtue and the value of opposition in this country? The reason why we say that let us go fight so that we can introduce pluralism in Kenya is so that we do not have a one-party state. But if people are going to be tending towards one uniformity, then it means that Kenyans are going to be losing by and by. And so what we are saying ourselves is this. Now that we achieved democracy, now that we achieved multi-party democracy, let us not surrender it. Those that are not talking about peace, please tell us what you are talking about. Because if Uhuru and Raila are for peace, and you think you are not for peace, tell us what it is, right? Because that is what it actually creates understanding.
And that is what you think is lacking.
When we understand what you are saying, that is really what is lacking, because people are not expressing themselves. We want to know. They are
captive to the two political
formations. They are captive. Captive that either you are with Uhuru or you are with Raila. Now, if you are not either of them, then you go silent. No. The issue is that our ideas are as multiple as our numbers and brains. Let us talk exactly what it is we want so that the society can be able to sift the ideas and belong to ideological leanings. But there is nobody saying that what Raila and Uhuru are doing is wrong. No. We need a united nation, a united state. But everything that you do, whether you are talking about land, you are talking about power, you are talking about money, you are talking about agriculture, we must be talking it as we unite the nation, because we belong to the same state.
Right. Again, we have Albert Gasheru Wamaitu, who says it is absurd that Matiba had to die before being recognized as a hero by any of the multi-party governments which came to power courtesy of his fight for multi-party democracy. The fight cost him his health and finally his life, and he says, very sad indeed. Mahulu Kwalikulungu in Kakamega.
Yeah.
It is so sad that a Kenyan has lost his life, not because he was a criminal, but in the course of restoring democracy in our country, in Kenya. He says, go thee well, Kenneth Matiba.
You see, one of the most negative things that I have myself, looking at our country, is that during the time we were fighting, we fought for a freedom square. And in this freedom square, we said, let us have a plaque that we are going to have our heroes listed there, right? And it was set aside. What happens there? Nobody knows. Imeviringwa tu na ukuta, right? Is Kenneth Matiba a hero? It's somebody else who has never been involved in anything is going to be deciding whether he was. Is Wangari Maathai a hero? Somebody else, other than anybody thinking about how great people are, is going to be thinking about it. And the question is, if you do not appreciate heroes, what is the young generation and the youth of this nation going to take as role model? When you come and tell me that an athlete is a hero, athletes are not heroes. They are competitors in an open world, you know. But a character that went out to Westgate to save Kenyans, and he went out there carrying children, that's a hero. You know, And we must be able to differentiate these things. But you run and you are given 50 million shillings and you come buying helicopters in this country and then you are called a hero. What does your child think? If your child was acquitted...
Right, but just from what the president has said so far, what do you make from what the president
Yes,
has said?
well, the things that he has said are historical perspectives of Kenneth Matiba, that he was an educationist, an entrepreneur, and a character, very extremely strong character when it came to innovations. According to me, what Uhuru has just said now simply says that Kenya has got great people. But personally, I would like that those great people be recognized before the grave. Kenneth Matiba was there. Kenneth Matiba has been there from 1960 as a professional to date.
Dying at the age of 85.
Dying in the age of 85. Listen, the man died almost miserable because all his industries, all his hotels, all his schools were threatened. Some, in fact, sold in auctions. That is not how you deal with great people. You know, there is one character called Einstein. Einstein, a man that was known all over. He entered a train one day. He had bought a ticket in fighting to give a speech somewhere. But he misplaced his train ticket. And when the conductor came, the conductor said, "Excuse me, ticket?" And he said, "I'm looking for it." He looked for it, the whole pockets. He couldn't get it. And the man here said, "Excuse me, sir, I know you. We know you. So don't worry, don't look for your ticket, because we know you could not have entered this train without a ticket." And this conductor started walking away, and just when he was going to the next coach, he looked back. And when he looked back, Einstein, and he started looking for his ticket under the seats. This man came back and said, "Sir, I told you, you don't have to worry. We are convinced that you bought the ticket." And Einstein looked at him and said, "Excuse me, brother, I know what you are talking about. But now I have another problem. It's not about my ticket, but it's about my destination. Because you will leave me. But what does my ticket tell me? Which is my destination?" And that is the issue. As Kenyans, what is it are we doing to assist others to reach our destination? Because you should not assume that you are on a fast lane and therefore you don't care about the slow goers. We must all look at each other and appreciate where we are going and carrying our country.
Okay. Right, thank you so much. That is Njeru Kathangu, again, Secretary General for the Sili. Matiba was party leader, also former MP Runyanges. He'll stick around with us as we eulogize the late Kenneth Matiba.